Hello everyone! We are making a cheesy, savory sourdough today. So let's get started. For this recipe you'll need 500 grams of bread flour, 360 grams of water, 100 grams of active sourdough starter, 10 or 11 grams of salt, and 200 grams of freshly grated old cheddar. 200 may seem like a lot, but the cheesier the better. Some recipes out there fold in their cheese in cubes, but I find cubing the cheese is difficult to handle when it's in the dough. So I grate my cheese, which I find much easier to distribute through the dough and ensures every bite has some of that cheesy goodness. So as you can see, I've just added my starter to the water and it is floating. If you are new to sourdough, you're looking for this, and for the consistency you can see up close here. Next, we're going to give this a little mix just to distribute the starter throughout the water. You may have a little bit of starter that has not dissolved in, but that's okay. I then add my salt and again give that a stir. Next, add 500 grams of bread flour. Then add your grated cheese. One thing about the cheese is if it just came straight from the fridge and is still super cold, this may impact the time it takes for your bread to ferment. So I like to warm up my water a bit to compensate for this. Not hot because you don't want to kill the yeast, but just pleasantly warm to the touch. Or you can let your cheese sit out for an hour on the counter and come up to room temperature. Start to stir in all your ingredients until the dry flour has been incorporated. This may mean that you have to get your hands in there and knead it a little bit, but once it's all incorporated, no matter if there's dry patches in the dough, don't worry about it. Just cover your bowl and come back in about 30 to 45 minutes. This time will allow your dough to soak up all the liquid and become a lot easier to handle. See you in a bit. Okay, it's been half an hour or so, and you can see the dough has changed in consistency a bit, and it is starting to develop its gluten strength. So I'm just going to start to do the stretch and folds to further develop the dough strength. It's going to feel a little weird with all the cheese in it, but just do the best you can. And once you've finished your first set of stretch and folds, just cover up the dough and I'll see you again in another 30 to 45 minutes. Okay, we're back. And straight away you can see the dough has increased in elasticity. So we're going to do another set of stretch and folds until it is nice and tight. Okay, that should do it. I'll see you in another half an hour. Stretch and fold number 3. Again, pull it until it's difficult to do so. And we're just going to cover it up and come back again another half an hour. Okay, we're back and it's time to do a window pane test. This is to test for gluten development or strength in your dough. And so we just pull it nice and thin and we can see through it. So it's looking good. We're not going to get much better than this because of all the cheese in there. But as you can see, it's pretty much you can see through and it's as strong as it's going to get. Now we have to let the dough continue to bulk ferment on the counter, basically sit and increase in size. This takes me about 3 to 4 hours, but this may vary for many of you. Your room being warmer or colder, the temperature of your ingredients, and the strength of your starter are all factors that may impact the time it takes. So let's cover it up and we'll check on our dough in 3 to 4 hours. Okay, I've checked on my dough and it has significantly increased in size. So we're going to go to shaping. So if you look underneath, I don't do a very good job of showing you here, but there's lots of bubbles and activity going on. My dough is nice and poofy. It feels somewhat airy despite all the cheese. And so you can see here just how big my dough has gotten. If your dough does not look like this, if it is not poofy and doesn't feel like there's any air in it, then you need to continue bulk fermenting on the counter until it does appear like this, no matter how long it takes. Okay, spread your dough into a rough square and then fold the bottom end up into the middle and then bring the top end down to meet it, like this. Turn your dough, then start to roll up into a nice tight log. And once you've gotten it into your log shape, you're going to start dragging it against the counter to pull it nice and tight. And then I'm going to go and grab my banneton or bread basket and my rice flour. To ensure the dough does not stick to our banneton, I'm going to give it a liberal coating of rice flour. And then I'm going to flip my dough so it is seam side up into the basket. Then I just pop any large bubbles and neaten up the edges or the ends. And then I actually stitch up the center just to make it a little tighter before I cover it and put it in the fridge. I also sprinkle a little extra rice flour down the sides and on top just to ensure it doesn't stick. Okay, now we're ready to put it covered in the fridge to proof for 12 to 18 hours. It's completely up to you how long you want to leave it in the fridge and your schedule. I've covered mine with a shower cap, and now it's off to the fridge until tomorrow. See you then. Good morning. It's baking day, and I've just pulled my dough from the fridge. As you can see, it continued to grow slowly overnight, despite the cold temperature. I have had my oven heating for the past hour with my Dutch oven inside to 500 degrees Fahrenheit or 260 degrees Celsius. I grab a little parchment paper and then I turn my dough out onto it. Okay, as you can see, the dough releases easily from the banneton because of all the rice flour we had in there, and I'm just going to dust that off. You can see my dough is standing nice and tall and it isn't flattening out. You can also see all the lovely cheese through the dough. Okay, next we're going to score the dough so we can tell our bread where we want it to open. So I usually do it just off to the side and about a quarter of an inch deep. Not too deep, you don't need it to go too deep. So you can kind of see here how deep it went. Okay, because we have cheese in our dough, the baking instructions are a little different than usual. Because of all the cheese in this dough, it's quite large and will take a little longer to bake. So you're going to lower your oven temperature down to 450 Fahrenheit. And then we're just going to open our Dutch oven and place our dough carefully inside. Okay, I'm going to place the lid on the Dutch oven and place the Dutch oven in the oven. And we'll see you in about 30 minutes where we're going to remove the lid and have a peek at the dough. Okay, it's been 30 minutes and I've just removed the Dutch oven from the oven. And here it is. So as you can see, we got fantastic oven spring. It looks just beautiful. So now you turn down your oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit, or you can leave it at 450 if you like yours a little darker. And let's put it back in the oven with the lid off for another 20 minutes. And here's our lovely cheesy sourdough. You wouldn't believe how incredible it smells in this kitchen. Anyway, I'm going to let it sit here and cool down for at the very least an hour. And then we'll come back and we'll slice into it. Okay, it has been an hour and I can't wait anymore. And here it is. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, clicking like or share is always appreciated. Either way, I'll see you next time. And thanks for watching.